to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the regular board meeting of April 8th, 2025. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a couple items here, if I may. We have Commissioners warrants, item number 3, in the amount of $247,833.84. 247,833.84. I also do have add-on warrants, add-on Commissioners warrants this morning, $19,901.74, 19,901.74. I have hospital warrants in the amount of $1,327,499.36. 1,327,499.36. There are no hospital offline warrants on this agenda. That's all I have for changes and additions, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, those additions and changes, I will move the agenda.
I'll support that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, the minutes of 325, auditors warrants from 328 and 44, commissioner warrants 247,833.84, add-ons 19,901.74, hospital warrants 1,327,499.36, and the treasurer's report for March. To approve. Okay.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kyle. Morning.
I just have our annual report, and approval. Basically, it's just annual report that summarizes the work activities that we've done with the feedback program. There's performance and credits that we received for those activities. We are compensated our base grant based on the end of the year with 53 performance credits. There were 32 staff inspections done. The feedback.
Just a minor one. Do the feedlots, of course, as they age, the concrete and so forth deteriorates? Is there an inspection program that you're involved with there?
There is not. I don't really know what all of barn.
Yeah, because ultimately it's their responsibility to maintain it. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the life expectancy. There's got some earthen basins that we're hoping to probably close. Water utilized, but.
I was just a curiosity how that was monitored.
Yeah. That would be an engineer question.
Yeah.
I don't know what the response would be.
Motion to approve the report.
Make that motion.
I'll support it. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Nick.
Morning.
First up for me today would be some project updates. And updates started on page 2. We're familiar with the 5 projects. The road that John Paulson is currently working on plans for that. Questions, getting started, then we're going to meeting with them. Hoping meeting or Next update would be the Osborne. That. Item for me would be, request to approve. Five.
Four to six, right?
Yep, it's like a 40. There. Up to 6 different kinds. Waiting, but. Oh, so.
I like the name of the company,
Yeah,
Sir Lions Lot.
yep. I haven't seen their building, but. I think it is.
The Vogel Traffic Service, is that affiliated with Vogel Paints? Is that one of their subsidiaries, do you know?
It is,
Yeah.
what I remember, I think it,
You're out of Iowa?
yeah,
That's
Orange
what
City,
Vogel Paints is.
Orange
Okay,
City.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Orange City, that sounds right, yeah, yeah, so.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's, I didn't realize they actually did applications. I thought. they
Yeah.
just-
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the 29, 433, 42 for striping.
I will second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great, next up for me, contacted by the city of Pipestone. One of our county state 30 and Hiawatha Avenue. Water treatment. Before I started, so 06.
You think of any reason to keep it or? I can't either, I guess.
there's no underground utilities or drainage of any kind in that easement that we own. I wouldn't think so, not there. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
So on this,
I don't know if that affects us anyway.
I guess I'll ask, what do you mean? Would that affect, what would that affect? Or
well, if we've got an easement there and then if a utility's got an underground line in there,
They have an easement,
they should have an easement
but then that'd be up to them.
up to them, yeah, to make sure it
Yeah,
doesn't
okay.
affect anything.
Gotcha.
And again, we don't have any culverts or drainage going through there. We need anything for us. On this picture you show us then, so the yellow is where the road is at now.
Yes.
And we've got an easement there. That yellow is an easement now for us. Or is it not? It's not our road. It's a city road.
No,
Well, the curve's gone.
Yeah, the curve is gone, the orange. Yeah.
so the aerial photo is just
Mhm.
that up so you can see where the road
Mhm.
was.
Yes.
Um,
But do we have an easement in that new road, I assume? Yeah,
Get a road there.
Mhm. There would be,
right, yeah.
there'd be one there.
That's where you concrete is straight through, right? The yellow, isn't it? Or, oh, I was thinking concrete, whatever, but it just went straight through by the VOTEC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe it's tear a house down.
Mm, Maybe it was a mobile house or.
There was one to the west there that had burnt down a year or so ago.
Across the road, I think there's one.
There's one on the east also.
In one of them double wide jobs or something, I
Yeah.
think.
Moved it out, whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
But yeah, as far as that orange, I agree with you. The road's not there. There's no reason for us to continue that easement. I don't see any problem. Do we want action on that? I assume we should probably for the minutes.
I don't.
Yeah.
Resources,
Okay.
you know,
Sure.
okay with it, or
That's just common sense.
do you know what they're gonna develop out there, or has that been talked about?
so they just said that they wanted to develop the area.
Okay.
As you can see, there's pretty good. You
Mhm.
know, for
Yeah.
roads.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need it, so I'll tell. The description on that.
And I don't think either one of those houses are there anymore, are they?
No, they're gone.
I
No.
think the east one,
They're gone.
got removed,
Right,
and the west one, I think.
Bur-
Recently.
Burnt.
Right, yeah.
Burnt, yeah.
okay.
All right, I'll be back with more info on that. The maintenance updates, we had a couple weather events we responded to in the last month. We moved out recently and then everybody's figured it out.
Question, we're gonna do the main street in Edgerton, that's
Yep.
when they are digging up another street now. And they had leftover grant money, so they're gonna spend that on, what is it, Jill, a street and a half? Block and a half? Yeah. Do we need, do they need permission to ask for you to include that little piece in doing this Main Street?
You wanna add it on to our project?
I was gonna go talk to them about, but I didn't dare go talk to them about it until I cleared it with you, so. I don't know about the timing either. They're working on it right now, so I'm sure it'll be done by the time that we're ready to tar. I know we've done it for other cities.
Yep, we have.
The last time they got tar from Sioux Falls, it just seems silly to drive tar from Sioux Falls.
Similar distance.
They just talked to the contractor.
But I kind of.
Oh, okay. You can still do
The
that, you think?
Contract's been all let and stuff ready, so there's too late to,
They're advertised now, the
Yeah.
open bids, May 13th.
yeah, it's too late to add it then.
Probably,
Okay.
but if it's not that big of a,
It's not big a deal. They can get it from Sioux Falls too.
right, but. Next year, they talk with us and. Like, I don't know what they're doing and how in depth it is, so if they can get by for a year. So next year we could add it in and probably get them. That's the price.
Yeah. I'll just, let them do what they were gonna do then.
If they wanna call, they certainly can give me a call.
Okay.
We can maybe talk through a few options.
Okay, thank
Of
you.
course, they'd have to be done at the time the paving company's ready to do
And
it.
that's what I'm running through my head, like,
They're digging right now, so they'll be done in 2 weeks.
this is contact.
They've been at it for 2 weeks too already.
I think
They
it was
could-
contact
They can
everybody.
contract whoever we let the bid to, right?
Yeah. Maybe they
Just,
are in town, that'd be better price. Could be.
May 13, you said is what are we that?
3:13
Yep.
to 10:30 will. Thank you. Eve, any personnel?
Actually, a couple things. We are interviewing right now for HR director, and we'll finish up interviews tomorrow afternoon. We have 7 interviews for that, so we're doing well on that. Other than that, we have the deputy auditor 1 has accepted the position. I say her name now since she's taken it, so it's Jamie Fritz. Work up in the auditor treasurer's office, so that position. And then Andrew Keel, Highway Department, Senior Engineer, he is accepted. Got all the initial paperwork done for that, and he will be coming in to do onboarding on the 28th of this month. Moving forward, getting those moving, so.
Great.
And that's all I've got on that, Mr. Chair and Board.
All right. Casey,
Hi.
morning.
Morning, Casey.
And you guys have, I think, everything.
Hmm.
I'm requesting to purchase the national radio. For 2006. From Motorola Flash. We were super fortunate. Doing service stuff. Apply for it, I think. September, and then it was awarded in December. And we received $154,886.28. That's based upon the square miles in our primary service area as well as our call volume. We have to use this money up by the end of the year and of course, report back to the state about every dollar that we spent of it. And as you can see, we have that spreadsheet screenshot that I have in there. Goes over our plan. We do not have all of it allocated yet, but we're trying to be pretty fiscally responsible with it and utilize it for specific needs that we have. Things that, I mean, we had considered putting in the budget over the next several years and whatnot, but getting this money unexpectedly was, I mean, we were able to push up some projects a lot sooner and pay for them with this aid money rather than county funds. So, yeah, the portable radios that we have right now, the ones that are in the ambulance and in the base for everybody to use are still the Motorola XTS 2500 radios from back in March of. And we went to Armor in Pipestone County, so most of them still work, but they are no longer servicing them and they haven't been for quite some time. We've just been using them because they still work. And we'll probably still continue using them until they completely shell out, but I know some of them have, so.
Would they be able to use by the highway department or anything if they need something or the old ones?
If that's something Nick is interested in.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're. they-
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's a need, yeah.
If they're more than welcome to them, so. Yeah, because we have quite a few of those left over, so.
This is a one-time deal, right?
This emergency ambulance
Yeah.
aid is a one-time deal, so.
Mr. Then the 3 mobile radios, then they're going in what vehicles?
So the 3 mobile radios, it's 2 in 2 of the ambulances And then the one in the emergency truck that is
The-
being built right now.
And the same thing, the existing one, obviously the new purchase, but the existing ones, they're also no longer being serviced. no matter
Correct.
what.
Yep.
They-
Or, I mean, the same,
Yeah.
like model family.
Interesting to see the comparison price in those, the 9 portables at 32,000 is 3,600 a piece. And the 3 at 17,000 for the vehicles are 5,800 a piece. It's a huge
Well, the
difference.
mobile radios are dual head, so they have a head in the front of the vehicle. Well, for the ambulances, they have a head in the front of the vehicle and then again in the back, so we can talk from both. But that is our chili feed 2025 project, so the county will get reimbursed from the association for those.
This price includes installation in the vehicles as well, or is that going to be extra?
That I am not sure. I believe it includes installation as well, but I'll have to double check on that. Typically, when we purchase stuff, I mean, they do, so.
And that when we allocate the old ones to the highway department, is it just a matter of going into the software and changing the frequency? Excuse me.
Yeah, they'll have to be reprogrammed, I presume.
That's not a big deal. It's something that we can do ourselves or Motorola has to do that.
I'm not sure if Alpha has to do that. I presume they're probably gonna have to reprogram the radios with the specific highway department code plugs. But I'll ask Mike about that. He might have that capability as well.
Thank you.
Heard the request.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I will move that we approve the request for both of these purchases.
I'll support that.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Um, Appointment of the assessor.
That I need the
Or do we have to wait on that?
people down here.
Okay, then we go to committee reports.
Sure.
Who wants to start off?
I can go. With the March, 3rd annual road and bridge meeting. Another meeting on the 3rd was a special board meeting for building and grounds, the hiring there. On the 6th, Prime West Health at Alex. 11th, regular board meeting, 13th, Island Water meeting. On the 17th, Private Industry Council, there was just, I don't know, maybe you guys have heard some of this, Benson, Minnesota had a plant layoff, kind of a large plant layoff. There's a Case New Holland plant there. There was 175 employees laid off there. And then they were the Private Industry Council, they were gonna have a job fair at Benson to help those employees on April. Oh, no, that job fair is done, I guess. So the employees were getting laid off April 11th. That's what. On the 19th, Southwest Health and Human Services. 24th, Rock Pipestone Collaborative Meeting in Laverne. Okay, and then also on the 24th, extension meeting. Made announcements about some new hires. Ann Orn is the new regional director, and then Maddie Boomgarn would be the new adult educator there for extension. 25th, regular board meeting, PCM meeting, and Road and Bridge Committee meeting. And then on the 26th, emergency communication radio board meeting. That's what.
Okay,
Okay, for March 3rd, was road and bridge meeting, at evening at a planning committee meeting here. 11th regular meeting, 20th, the Plum Creek meeting in Worthington. We had, manager had to let somebody go. Well documented. She had, statements from several other people that witnessed the interaction, so that was, good, a good to us, action to let the person go. He threatened to go to the state and whatever, but we haven't heard anything about that yet, so. It's a good thing that she had witnesses and she had testimony from one of the other libraries too, that, things have been going on that shouldn't be going on, so. We took care of that. As a board, you don't get to do it, but that's her job to fire somebody, but we backed her up on that. 24th, the Roman Minnesota Energy Board, I sat in, Dan was ill that day, so.
Thank you, Dallas.
There are a couple of different things that came out of there. One of the new things to me is there's a 2-year fallow after removal of solar farm. You have to leave the ground fallow for 2 years. You can't grow anything on it for 2 years. I didn't either until that meeting.
They explain what the reasoning for it is.
I would assume that the fall off from the panels themselves. I would assume they're using abundance of caution, so. And there's a House Bill 1040, and that is, tended to deny disposal in landfills of the stuff from solar and wind. I don't know if it's passed at all or if it's gonna be passed this year, but there is one up in the city.
But they probably don't give you any solution for what to do with them.
What are you gonna do with it?
It's all going to Missouri right now.
Okay.
We don't ask what Missouri is doing. If that's their solution, I guess that's.
Gene Metz had just shared with me as well too. Of course, he works on the legislative part of it for rural energy and also for solid waste. And with rural energy right now, there's a couple of bills being pushed to increase the setbacks for both solar and wind. And I believe one of them they're pushing for wind is it has to be at least a mile from any residence or any structure.
None would be able to go up.
Yeah, it's just, so we have to keep in tune with what's going on, so.
Right now it's 1.1 from the wingtip.
Diameters,
Yeah.
1.1 diameter, yep, now they're talking a mile.
And they did talk about some of the transmission lines that they're planning, but it's all planning and no happening.
Or any planned here?
There's a big one from Brookings to Jackson and then all the way to Wisconsin. That's the big one in the far off future.
But it doesn't go through our county?
No, I think,
Wasn't there one a while back that was gonna come down from the north down to kind of Marshall or so?
I think by Garvin.
Yeah, and that's part of XL's own line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Sherco to.
so putting new conductor on existing poles.
and 25th was regular meeting, hospital board meeting. And the 29th, I went to the hospice benefit. It wasn't a meeting, but it was worthwhile to go to. That was the first one I've been to, and it had a well attended and good program. Thanks for doing sound, Dan.
Happy to do that.
Did you ever hear how much money they raised?
I didn't, we'll have to ask Brett. Yeah. That's been a very well attended program for years.
That's my report.
All right. Dan?
On March 1st, excuse me. I wasn't able to get here in time for Road and Bridge, but that evening, though, I did make one out to the Hiawatha Lodge. Dr. Ken Winters was there doing a presentation on the cannabis laws and regulations training. So I was part of the Pipestone Area Coalition and also Southwest Health Human Services. On the fifth, had a meeting for the child care program. We're working on this RCCIP. Again, still looking for locations. We've pinned down 4 or 5 potential locations, and now Southwest Initiative Foundation has got an architect that'll come in and give us an overview of those to see how viable those may or may not be. On the 6th, then we had Prime West up at Alex. On the 11th, Explore Southwest Minnesota, working on tourism and so forth. That was a Zoom meeting. And they've got some funding that they're going to try to use in some social media campaigns. On the 12th, my Veterans Memorial Committee, again, finalizing some plans on that, a few little tweaks on some of the ideas they're looking at, but still going forward with that. Still a long ways to go on the fundraising for the total project. On the 17th, well, on the 13th, Luke and I, we had our plant ops meeting at the hospital. Also, we had a Casey Jones bike trail meeting as well, too. Again, funding for that is up in the air right now. On the 17th, had our SMOC meeting down in Worthington, Southwest Minnesota Opportunity Council funding. Both that and Southwest Health and Human Services that I had on the 19th. That's one of the big concerns, obviously, is we don't know where we stand. We know that Head Start is one of the specific things that's been called out in some of these funding cuts that have been discussed at the federal level. So we, and also Planned Parenthood and a number of programs, Meals on Wheels, a lot of challenges that we're looking at. So future is very uncertain right now. On the 21st, SRDC had a annual renewal, not a renewal, but education program over at Slate and over at the fairgrounds. Went over and attended that and learned a few more things about the history of SRDC and where it's been at and kind of the future for it. So good program. And that completes my report for the month of March.
Okay. On the 11th, attended MHA Advanced Trustee Training on Strategic Governance. On the 13th, Soil and Water District, they talked about getting a different vehicle and applied for an RCPP grant, and then had plan ops later in the day. On Monday, the 17th, MRC met with Representative Isaac Schultz from the Little Falls area. And he gave a little overview of what's going on with the legislature. Had a hospital executive meeting on the 18th. The 19th at Highway 23 Coalition. Joe Persky from Stearns County said that he was out at NACO and didn't get a good feeling for transportation funding going forward, based on the federal cuts and whatnot. And I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Excuse me. On the 24th at our regional solid waste meeting, our 10-year plan is with PCA for review. On the 25th, at a road and bridge committee meeting and then the hospital board. On the 26th, 7th, and 8th was at the AMC Leadership Summit and attended the AMC board as well. At the AMC board meeting, they had quite a discussion about potential Medicaid cuts, which of course would be pretty devastating for the state and counties. But there again, until we know what's going on, not much we can do about it. And see how it shakes out. On the 31st, had union negotiations with the nurses at the hospital. On the 3rd, I had Area 2 in our CRCA, and we approved the new joint powers agreement for our CRCA. On the 4th, had personnel committee interviews for the HR director position. And then yesterday had MRC again with Senator Grant Housechild from the Arrowhead region. He said 65% of the Canadian borders in his district. It's the largest in Minnesota. And, but he's a Democrat, but very conservative rural Democrat and he's,
Most of that border is probably just a line, right? No
Yeah.
fence, no nothing.
right. But, yeah, this is the second time he's met with MRC and he's pretty, for a newer guy, he seems to have a pretty good head and, think it was, would be one that would be helpful in many respects if we ever needed his help. That's all I got.
Luke, the DHS cuts and so forth, and then of course, we're watching the legislation on it as well too. This African-American bill, now, do I understand that that's looking like a 2-year delay before that's implemented?
Well, they have a couple different bills. The one was to delay it and one is to fund it.
Yeah.
And,
So the two different houses, right?
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think knowing where they're, so constrained financially with the big deficit coming, the likelihood of funding it is, unlikely. I think there's also been talk about having a pilot project in a rural county before implementing it statewide. And I think both MRC and AMC are kind of pushing for that, but which would in effect delay it.
Another one I'm kind of watching that would affect us as well too is DHS's carve out of the dental. And it looks like, and what their carve out is they're going to take it over themselves instead of having Prime West do it with their subsidiaries. And then they're going to go with just one provider, of course, would be Delta Dental. Yeah. But there's been two different bills introduced, one in the House and one in the Senate. One looks for a 2-year delay on it. The other one looks for a 4-year delay on implementing that. So, a lot of plates up in the air spinning.
But to me, anytime they've taken over anything, it's usually not cheaper, it's not easier. It's
Better.
Yeah. Okay, and Amanda's here for the county assessor thing, maybe?
Mhm.
I think we're ready for that, if you want to come up.
Need, auditors or the assessor's office too.
Lisa's coming down.
Yeah, I need Lisa down here.
Okay.
I just haven't get a hold of her.
Dave?
Everyone's so efficient today.
It's the chairman.
Just in case they have. Okay.
Okay, Lisa and Amanda, can you come up? Morning. Morning.
Do we sit?
Have a sit.
Hi, good morning.
Good one.
Welcome. Mr. Chairman and board members, what I have going on today is the board action is to request that Lisa Braun be sworn in as interim county assessor. She has license level AMA, so she's accredited Minnesota appraiser, so she is able to do that. What I have on the background here is Assessor Chris McChesney has notified me that she'll be stepping down as the county assessor effective April 10th of 2025. The county will need to advertise for a new county assessor, and we do have 90 days from April 10th to appoint a replacement. Chris does wish to stay on as deputy assessor, and I do have information attached in a letter from Mr. Dan Tanka, the property tax compliance officer, about what we have to do. And what we are doing is appropriate. So once we get Lisa in place, then we can start working on advertising for the position of county assessor. And it is, according to his letter, it is imperative that we do have someone appointed to be a county assessor here, so.
Right.
And he said, "Great to do that." So what the recommendation is to, for 90 days or until we get a new assessor hired, is the board appoint by board action is here to administer the oath. The board wishes to do that so that we do have a county assessor on board. And Lisa has agreed to. Lisa, do you like to say anything? Please do.
It's glad that I can step in and
Very
help.
glad you can too. Yes.
We appreciate the willingness. I know it's a big challenge to step forward. That's terrific. Yep.
Yeah. So,
How long have you had your AMA?
oh. Years?
And are you interested in continuing your education to go further as?
I'm looking at the retirement age.
Yeah. And again, it's a big step.
Yeah, you know, when Joyce left it, you know, Chris and I just kind of took it over and, you know, and she's done wonderful with. I will still need her, you know, her input on everything.
Team.
Yes. Yeah. And we work very well as a team, so.
Well, Mr. Chair, I will move that we approve the appointment then of Lisa to the assessor's position interim.
I'll support that.
Okay, any further discussion or questions? Not all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Bet.
You have-
Or condolences.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for stepping up.
Yes, we much appreciate that. And it's also good that Chris is staying here, so the knowledge is still there with us too, not we're not losing that. So that's very important to us to have that continuity in there as well. So
You bet.
very grateful.
And you guys just recently completed one of your deadlines. You got the statements out. That's a big job. You bet.
They're out and yeah, we're had one last night and today and yeah, and then
And I'm sure that you're getting some questions from some of the constituents about some of the changes and.
that's what these meetings are
Yep.
for. So yeah, we'll come and ask the
Sure.
questions.
You know, how you can explain how the program works, and it's not just an arbitrary number you're picking out, and that there's a lot of oversight on the state's part about what we can and cannot do. And
And that's hard, that's probably the hardest part for people to understand. We
Yep.
just,
We have a name now we can direct people to at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
you got a headshot of her that we can put up on the bulletin boards.
You need to administer the oath.
Yep.
then, or-
Here, let me.
Okay. Be diligent. Partial. And impartial.
Need a notary?
Yep, man is a notary.
Yep. Kyle, you got your camera. Would you like to get a picture of them with the backdrop of the seal, or are you good? Yep. Got it. Good.
Thank you.
guys.
Bet, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. We're gonna take a brief recess until people come at 10. Or should we, or Amanda, you wanna do that home tax abatement quick?
That's not time critical, so
Right.
perfect.
All right, so we received an application for a new home. Provided you with the application, provided the bill at reviewing application. The assessor provided an estimate, so on the value, so I did an estimate on the taxes, and we would need to schedule a public hearing if everything looks okay. This is going to be a new home in the southwest. I'm not sure if I have.
By Coburn's.
Yes, out there. And they had first given me the application earlier in the year, but weren't planning to be building right away. So we've kind of been waiting. And since then, they changed their plans, their home plans. So you might have seen two different home plans. So there is the home plans, they knew, and they kind of had the picture like this. That was the two ones and most recent. So yes, again, it's on an empty lot, so build, again, it's kind of been a little bit. First they were looking at earlier, then they were looking later, now it's kind of back up to earlier. We're gonna start this process and they will have the building permit in time for the public hearing, which we are anticipating or would like to schedule for May 13th at 10 a.m.
I'll make that a motion. We schedule that public hearing.
Okay,
Second that, May 13th, and what was the time
10
again?
AM.
10?
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Or would you like to take a brief recess?
All right.
We can reconvene. Rick, you want to come up?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, good
Morning.
Rick Whipple, I'm representing Robert H. Minders and his family from Edmond, Oklahoma. I think in your packets, oh, sorry. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. In your packet should be some pictures of a public work bike stand, essentially is what it is. It's made by Saris. It's a good thing that people would use, maintenance their bicycles if they have issues. There is an option to put a bike pump on this as well, which we have already acquired. We did buy this for another project that we are working with, and it doesn't fit with that project. So we were talking to a few community members of where would be a good spot to put this at, and a lot of people recommended this trail. There's nothing out there in case you have an issue. And then digging into it a little bit further, there's that by the cemetery there is a bench overlooking the monument. Right there, we fear would be a decent spot. The cost that cost us is in there as well. We already bought that, but we would also be taking care of any labor and or installation costs that would associated with that. There's already a chunk of concrete there on it. Depending on what the county engineer wants to do, if we want to pour another slab next to it to mount on the existing one, we really don't care. Whatever you guys want, we would just like to see it in use.
Does it require electricity?
No, it's all manual.
Okay.
And all the tools are attached to it via cable, so you can't steal it, nothing like that. The only maintenance issue you guys would have with it, every 3 to 5 years, you probably would have to replace the air hose on it. They do rot after the UV rays hit it. After a while, they become soft and brittle and eventually. That's the only thing we've done. A few of these down in Edmond and Oklahoma City, and very, very little issue with them except for the air hose rotting away after a few years, essentially.
And to point out, we've already got one by the Casey Jones head trail as well too. That was installed through the state
Yep.
a number of years ago. And yes, we've had to replace the hose on that too, because the UV
Sure.
does eat them up. But yes, nice, very nice units.
But that's what I got for you guys. Just want to see if you guys are interested in it. If so, great.
Nick, do you feel that it can be on the existing concrete?
Fine putting it wherever you.
Well, just so there's room, you
Yeah,
know,
there's
around
enough
the
room
bench, you
there.
wouldn't want to block the bench, but if there's room, you know, on.
And the gentleman installing it, they can make their things, and if they have pour new concrete or something, just let me know what you guys need for a check and we'll take care of it. Questions?
I don't think this takes action on our part. This is for information, is it? Or you want it?
I think we have
Says
to
action on the.
accept the donation.
We approve the acceptance of this donation.
Second it. Okay. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you
Who
very
is gonna
much.
install it? Do you want us to install it or are you guys gonna
I
install it?
will take care of it.
Okay.
For the installation for you.
And thank the
Thank you,
family
Rick.
very much.
Thank
Your family force as well too.
You bet. Thank you.
Hey, that wasn't so bad. Good job. Thank you.
Kyle. Come on up and want to introduce yourself to the board and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Kyle, physical, the plant manager that you got hired. It'll be my second week. It's been going great, enjoying it. Great people here. Getting to know the facilities and the people in the other buildings. Just trying to get the lay of the land, as you will. Kind of getting projects put alongside or on a list of what we're looking forward to do. Yeah.
We're very happy to have you.
Yeah, it's been great. Appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to the future.
Great.
Well, welcome. Were you surprised, having grown up in the community and now being part of management here, how many facilities we do have that you have to take care of?
I was aware of that, you know, before coming here and even before applying.
Yep.
You know, I'm excited to help out and be a part of it. You know, hopefully I can bring a few new things to the table as well. So.
Some of us already know your background, but would you share your background with the public as well too?
Yeah, so I have a license in electrical journeyman, license for electrician. I took in tech school, Minnesota West out of Canby. Then I was with the union, electrical union for almost 15 years. And then the last 2 years I was with the state of South Dakota at with the DOC, Department of Corrections, managing the facility out of Sioux Falls. And that was quite the project and overcoming or overtaking of that facility. And yeah, now I'm here. So.
We're fortunate to have you. Thank you.
You bet.
Your team.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one thing. The back door needs some attention. It doesn't close by itself. Okay, I got my paper Sunday afternoon and that's not good if it doesn't automatically close.
It's already addressed.
So, thank you.
Yes, yep. All right, anything else?
That's a good answer. Done already.
Kyle has just hit the ground running and he's just doing a great job. And
Bet.
so glad that he's working with us. Glad to have you here.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
thank you.
Enjoy working with you.
Thank you, guys.
You bet. Take care.
Yeah, sure.
The Wall of Fame.
Can take his hat off.
Yep. Now, we need a profile picture, just like E-card when you worked out in Sioux Falls.
Look like an inmate. Guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you. Sarah Freeman. Morning.
Morning.
Keith, morning.
We're to, go over, it's called Guardian, it's for the jail. Hourly check, half hour checks and stuff, and Our jail administrator go over what like that, so.
Yeah, so we're looking at moving forward with this Guardian system, it's called. What it essentially is we put these wireless hard tags wherever we want a check completed. So you can put them outside of cells, you can put them inside of cells. You can use them for other things like fire extinguisher checks, that type of stuff. Basically anything that you need to record that you're checking. Our main use for it, at least initially, would be for well-being checks. And what it is, those hard tags are outside of each cell, and then you have a device that's similar to a phone like this. And you walk up and you just touch it to it, and it automatically scans and logs that check for you. Uploads it. You can also, along with it, when you do your check, you can say what each individual inmate is doing right from your device. It's just a better way and a more, it's instantly logs the check versus doing a round, then coming back to your computer and logging it, where there might be 2 or 3 minutes difference. That might not sound like a big deal, but for DOC, that's kind of a big deal. And DOC really likes the Guardian system. About 2/3 of the state of Minnesota facilities already use the Guardian system, so it is already well established. Initial setup cost is quoted at $4,453. That would just be for the Guardian equipment and install. It includes some training as well. There would be some infrastructure work on our side that would also need to be done, like some wireless routers for internet back on jail, make sure we have good coverage and all that. I spoke with Bill and he feels good about $500 or so just for that, for the install in the jail and whatnot. For this initial install and implementation, I do have funds already available, so it would not be any additional cost to the county. It would be completely taken care of with funds that I already have. The part that we would have to look to in the future, I would have to budget in a yearly cost for the subscription is $3,995. This first initial setup includes the first year. So the whole first year will be paid for, installed, set up, working. And then the following years, I would just have to budget in the $39.95. There's a lot more that comes with this system too, that honestly, I probably don't even realize yet. It's a very robust system. You can do medication deliveries in it. You can do supplies in it, to which inmates got certain supplies and at what time, et cetera. We would start off, like I said, mainly using it for the well-being checks and getting familiar with it and see what else we want to implement as far as what the software can do.
But the people have to actually do the checks. It just does the documentation for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the one thing though, it doesn't replace our LETG RMS. It works in conjunction with it. So right now we log our check right from computer, well-being check, and then you get up and you do it. Well, with the Guardian system, there's no way around it. You have to physically get up and do the check in order for it to log, if that makes sense. And there's no, you can't scan and then change the time or anything like that. Like it's set, it's foolproof.
No fudging.
Correct.
And when DOC comes for our audit, one thing they look at is they look at our log. Then they watch the camera for 2 hours trying to make sure you logged it, that you were actually there. Well, this will take care of all that.
Right.
I mean, you have to be there to do it, so.
And along with this, there's all sorts of reporting systems that goes down to individual officers. You can see what percentage in compliance they are with their checks, et cetera. You can do it as a facility as a whole, or you can look at individual officers as well.
Yeah, because it would show which officer scanned it.
Yep. So when you log, beginning of shift, you just log in each time. You can do it just right on the phone, or each officer actually gets like a little key fob. Have you guys have those RSI key fobs? Just scan that and it logs them in. So then they're logged in for the day, and it keeps them logged in all day. So we know who is working each day and whether they're doing their checks sufficiently or not.
And where the money comes from for Reliance, we get a little bit of a user's fee for the iPads they use for every text and for the phone card. So we have enough in that balance to.
Yeah, so we get a
work
little,
itself.
we get a little kickback for each text that's sent and each phone call that's made through Reliance, and we've saved those funds up for quite some time. We have enough to pay for this for the first year. And we try to use those funds for bettering of the jail and or inmate quality.
We've bought cameras before for the jail with it, so.
I would assume this would improve our standing legally too, if there's something ever arose.
That is the theory behind it as well.
Makes sense to cover your posterior.
So the yearly subscription is pretty much repurchasing or updating the software? Is that kind of what the year?
Correct. And after, one thing I didn't mention is every 3 years, they send us new equipment for free. That's included in that too. So we get all new handheld devices every 3 years.
So it's not just you don't use your iPhone to trigger this sensor. It's a separate device that has to.
Correct. I'm just comparing it. It's about the size of a phone. It's like a little phone device and they go up and they just scan it.
And how many checkpoints or stations are you gonna have these sensors at, you know?
That'll be determined when we start building how we want to do it. I guess it comes with 20 of them and 20 is going to be plenty for our use.
At
That's
least
just
for
little-
sure every cell.
Yeah,
Yep.
basically it's just a little chip of some kind.
Yeah, just a little hard. It looks like a plastic tag and it has no wires to it or anything. You just have to screw it into a wall.
The difference between the initial cost and the annual fee is next to nothing apparently. So they're looking to try to get that subscription. With the annual fee, then what type of documentation do we get from them, or do we have to have server space? Bill's on board with this. He's got server space for you. And
Yes, so this is actually all done on the cloud. So we don't have to have any sort of server space or anything like that. Bill was included in all the meetings and whatnot, and he feels good about it. He didn't have any concerns. The only thing, like I said, brought up is we're gonna have to get some wireless routers in the jail, that type of stuff for internet. He didn't have any concerns.
it reminds me, when I was in the military, we used to have the roving dog watch. You remember those old time clocks where you'd have to go to the place, there'd be a key, and every checkpoint, you'd have to put the key in. Same principle, but foolproof. This is foolproof.
Correct. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what else, all the demo and whatnot, but it's hard to comprehend it all when you're trying to just watch it for an hour. But there's a lot more capabilities with it too that I'm looking forward to just seeing what it
could
can
be For
do.
meds,
Yeah.
you know, what time you give the meds and stuff like that, so.
That way you can record when they were administered and something, because like I said, each time you go there.
And each device has that ability to take a picture too. If you have something going on, if someone messed up a cell or whatever it may be, you can take a picture of it right then and there and it documents it right to that inmate. I mean, it seems very handy.
How did you learn about this?
I saw it at a conference, actually. I knew about its existence for years. It always used to be a lot more expensive though. It was a very considerable cost to implement it before. In the past year, they've done something or other to where it's considerably cheaper now though. So, and I know that a lot of the smaller facilities are getting it now. I know Lincoln County's looking at getting it, even Murray's looking at getting it. And this is something that like Nobles and Cottonwood and Jackson, those guys have had for years, so.
And Keith, you've got room in your budget for this year's allocation for this. It's not a problem.
As well as, we already have the money set aside for that Reliance money, so.
Oh,
It
okay.
won't be
Yeah.
any good on the
It's
budget at all.
no hit on the budget, no extra cost.
And then going forward, we renew this, the subscription, and that'll come out of our budget. then at that
Probably not. We still can keep getting money from,
point.
It kind of depends on what that
yeah.
Reliance budget looks
Yeah.
like at the
Yeah.
time.
Great.
Oh, I can't say for sure, but there's a good chance that we'll eat back every year to use.
Are we looking for formal approval?
We are.
Make that motion. We approve the purchase of this, man cloud system.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Doug, did you second?
I did,
Doug.
yeah.
Anything else to come before us today?
Interested, there's a picture of the devices on page 6 in that little handout.
Mhm.
It looks like an iPhone. actually.
Mhm.
Oh, done.
I suppose the sensors are probably almost like a credit card that, you know, like where you can just tap the
Yep,
screen or
yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
There was a,
Probably just.
on page 5, it looks like there's a little square unit that mounts on the wall. Right in the middle of the page.
Oh, yeah.
Guys walking by, looks like something, I wonder if that's the sensor.
Right, almost like a thermostat.
Yeah. True.
Get the recording off.
Chairman,
365 every.
Make a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Pay for that.
Okay,
Second.
motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Adjourned at 10:14.
Very much.
Stand by.